Hi. Oh, it's a Sunday video update. How you guys doing? Jared Fuller here. Today is Sunday, September 1st, 2019. Joining me off camera this week, Dad and Amy.
Hello.
And it is the first day of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and that will be something I talk about. That will be the topic of discussion in this particular video this week. But there are some other things I wanted to get to. Before I do that, I'm going to right off the bat remind all of you to visit GuideStar.org. GuideStar.org has a complete and comprehensive listing of all the 501c3 nonprofit organizations, and LLCs approved by the federal government. Don't be fooled, don't be duped. Visit GuideStar.org today. Yesterday, I was in Ionia on the west side of the state. I was going to meet a cancer warrior, but he wasn't feeling well, so he was sleeping. And we've got some allergy issues going on in the house. Dad and Amy are sneezing and coughing their heads off. It's because of the light. I went to Ionia yesterday. I was going to meet a cancer warrior, but he wasn't feeling well. He was resting. But we had made plans for sometime this week to hang out over pizza, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's one plan that I know is going to happen this week. I have a doctor appointment on Tuesday the 3rd. So that's number 2 thing that I know that's happening for sure this week. I don't know what else is happening this week.
Bill Day for me.
Bill Day for you?
Tuesday.
And what's happening for you?
I know the 12th.
The 12th?
If you would, please.
Okay.
Take us all back down to Lansing again.
Oh, Lansing, yes. Because I miss Lansing. Yeah, I can take you to Lansing. It's not a problem.
I don't remember what time right off.
Well, I don't know. They make 4 different times like they did the last time. Get off my foot, dog. They give you 4 different times the last time when you had an appointment down there. I don't know if any of those people watch they probably don't even know this channel exists, let alone the videos. But if they do, get your shit together.
I agree.
You know, it's ridiculous. If she has to be there at a specific time, make it for that time. Stop goofing off.
I need all the appointments.
But I have 2 things happening this week, so there are 2 known things going on. But yeah, I was in Ionia yesterday, and then after I left Ionia, I went to Bronner's. So I went from one side of the state to the other, and it was fun. I enjoyed myself. Bronner's is the world's largest Christmas store, and it's located in Frankenmuth. It's open 361 days a year. And the 4 days that they're closed would be Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and New Year's. Those are the 4 days that they are closed for business. But they are the world's largest Christmas store. They have visitors from all over the world that, they come to visit Bronner's because it's a tourist attraction. And I was there yesterday, and I was looking into having some Christmas bulbs hand-painted and sent to some friends. I'm not going to say who because, I want it to be a surprise. And I want it to be a Christmas gift for me to them. But yeah, I was at Bronner's yesterday. And while I was there, I managed to grab off, let's see, I grabbed off this brochure, Personalized Ornaments and Stockings. That's what the lady handed me. Her name is Kathy, and she was very, very sweet to me. So that's what I was doing yesterday. I'm trying to figure out what else I had going on last week. I can't remember what I did. I can't remember what I did last week. My nose itches. Yeah, I must be getting old because I can't remember what I did last week. But I've been busy. I mean, I've been. Oh yeah, that's right. Duh. I enjoyed a meal with my mom and my brother Jay and my stepdad Jimmy. We were over at the Rustic in St. Charles. It's a bar, the Rustic Inn. Actually, what it was they had like an energy conference, ways to save energy, and they provided a free the meal. You had a choice between fish or prime rib, and I chose the prime rib, and it was a nice size rib with a great big, baked potato and some veggies, cauliflower and things like that. It was good. And the guy who was giving the speech, he was very humorous, and I enjoyed listening to him. And he was mentioning a few things, a few places that I'm very well aware of. BWL, which is the Board of Water and Light in Lansing, of course, because that's where he's from, and that's where his company, that's where his business is headquartered. And he mentioned Board of Water and Light. He mentioned the VFW Children's Home in Eaton Rapids. I've been by there. I know quite a bit about the area. There's a lot of different places I've seen and a lot of different places I've driven past. But he mentioned a lot, and it was very informative. And the meal was good. And it was nice to spend time with Mom and Jay and Jim, because I don't spend a whole lot of time with them. And when I got back from Bronner's last night, I stopped at the Back 40 Bar and Grill. Well, that way, actually. That way. And I enjoyed a beer and puff bread. Puff bread's really good. So I've been kind of busy, not really super busy, but busy enough to the point where I'm not being distracted by things that are wearing me down. So if you're watching this, you probably don't know this by now, but I am once again off Facebook. I deleted it. I'm done with it. I deleted the account on Friday, and I'm never coming back, so don't look for Jared Fuller ever again on Facebook. I'm done with it. It was a difficult decision to make, provided that, I had a lot of connections there, and there were a lot of people that I absolutely poured my heart out to, and I loved them dearly, and it was a difficult decision to make. I didn't want to leave, but I felt it was time to go and never come back, and I'm not coming back. I didn't want to have to leave, but the social media experience for me has been absolute bullshit, and I'm done with all of it. I can't deal with it anymore. It was too much weight on my shoulders. It was a decrease in my anxiety and depression. Now that I got rid of it, now I feel less depressed and less anxious, because I'm not looking at things that are, making me feel that way. Well, it has really markedly cut down on the depression and anxiety. I'm actually feeling pretty good right now, and it's not because I'm drinking coffee. No, it's because I'm not inundating myself with things that are upsetting me. And so, it was, again, like I said, a difficult decision to make, but it was a choice I had to make. A good friend of mine, his name is Mark. Actually, he's my auto insurance adjuster, or not my adjuster. He's my auto insurance guy. He's the person I go to. He used a very good analogy, which I didn't even bother to think about. He said, getting rid of something, it may be a difficult decision to make, but it's a necessary decision to make. You don't keep your favorite shirt with black mold just because, it's your favorite shirt. You have to get rid of that shirt, and you have to put on a different shirt. You have to buy a new shirt. So that's what I didn't outgrow it. You missed the whole point. If a shirt is covered in black mold, you don't keep the shirt, even if it's your favorite shirt. That was the point of the analogy, and he's correct. I mean, he's spot on. I never imagined it that way. I didn't look at it that way. I just, it just wasn't a healthy environment for me. It was toxic, and it was bringing me down. And I don't want to lie to my friends and pretend to be okay when I'm not. And I want to be the best version of myself that I can be to all my friends. So, yeah. And the mom that I met yesterday in Ionia, very sweet girl. So, putting the haters in the spotlight for just a smidgen, they convinced her, or at least one of them. I can't say all of them, but at least one person convinced her. So, she had this person that I met yesterday, she was so scared. I talked to her on the phone, by the way, but she told me that she was so afraid of me that she wasn't going to let her kids play outside. Because one person, and you know who you are, and I know you watch my videos, you convinced her so badly about me that she wouldn't let her children outside to play. Not now. Not now. Because now we're going to have pizza this week. So your plans, although they may have worked for just a short period of time, it didn't hold up because she put 2 and 2 together. See, that's what happens when you stop and think. Thinking can get you a long way if only more people would do it. But yeah, we're on good terms now. We have each other's cell phone numbers. In fact, we've been texting one another, and she's been giving me updates on her son. She gave me a goodie bag full of stuff. And you know what? We're going to meet up this week. We're going to have pizza. We're going to hang out. And sorry, but your plan didn't fucking work. So, Oh, and something else I wanted to point out too. I did write a very lengthy post on Facebook. It was my final post. And there were some F-bombs used. I did say the word fuck a few times. And one, I'm not going to put anybody on public blast here, but there are some people who got offended by the word fuck. Now, for the longest time, I didn't use that word in my Sunday video update until this year. I started, letting off that word. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like it because I use the F word. Well, let me tell you something. As soon as Dad's done doing what he's doing, because every time I get started on a point, he starts talking to the dogs, which is very distracting, by the way. Well, okay, but when I'm trying to make a point, I don't want you to talk to the dogs. I want you to listen. Okay, but now, to my point. People who get so offended by the use of the word fuck. And I understand there are laws prohibiting grown adults to use profane language around children. In public. We're talking about social media. You can choose to look at things or to not look at things. But if the word fuck is something that is going to ruin your perfect day, you are living an extremely sheltered life. The world is not going to be kind to you or your children just because they're your children. I thought I pointed this out sometime before in one of my Sunday video updates. I don't remember the exact day, but this point was proven and it was made. Well, maybe not proven because some people don't want to see things in that perspective. The world is not going to be kind to your kids because they're your kids. That's self-righteousness, which only exists in your world, up here. In the real world, instead of sheltering and coddling your kids from harm, why don't you teach them and raise them in a way where they know how to respond to things that upset them, instead of sheltering and coddling them and trying to protect them from harm. I'm not saying don't be a parent and let your kids do whatever the hell they want. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying, well, yeah, go let your kids hang out in someone's front yard of a sex offender. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that in this life, in this world, there are going to be things happening that you're not going to want your kids to see, let alone hear. Instead of, putting the blinders on, they need to be exposed to some things so they know how to respond to them. So they know, and you have to teach them that. Instead of running from the problem, show them. Teach them, you know what? The world is not going to be nice to you. I'm not going to instead of teaching you how to respond to certain situations, I'm just going to hold you and shelter you from that. You're not doing your kids any favors by doing that. Show them how to respond to things. Teach them that it is okay to be disappointed. It is okay to see and hear things that are disappointing to you. Because I'm telling you, the world is full of that. My dad, he will tell you the same thing. Instead of hiding me from things that upset me or words that upset me, he taught me how to respond to situations that disappoint me or upset me. And that's really what it is. I'm not saying be careless and let your kids do whatever the hell they want. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is you have to protect them. What's that?
I said you protect them, yes, but you also have to explain to them.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't protect your children. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are, like, something that's so mundane as the word fuck. Now, you're going to hear that word and see that word written everywhere in the world. She wants in the house. The cat wants in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit and listen to that constant fucking annoying meowing. But what I'm saying is the things that are the most mundane and that should mean nothing at all, like the word fuck. I grew up around people who swore and used that kind of language. My whole childhood, I heard that word constantly. Fuck this, fuck that, everywhere. My mom and dad said the word, my brothers said the word, my aunts, uncles, and cousins. We all said the word. I said it when I was a kid. Ask Jerry Bear. He taught me. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He just repeated what I said. But no, it's mundane to get that upset over a word. The word is neutral, by the way, and words have usages that we give them, that we assign to them. If the word fuck is something that upsets you, wow. Sorry, but the world is not going to be nice to you or your kids because it disappoints or upsets you. There's a lot of things that disappoint and upset me every day in my life. I don't whine because I'm offended by it, because that's all offending. You know, when you're offended and you complain about it, that's really all you're doing. You're just whining, because offense is not given, it's taken. So, and it's gotten awfully quiet over there. I'm getting no input from anybody. But I'm just making a point. You know, you can
Make the point.
you can throw in your 2 cents.
That's all it's about. You know, you teach your kids from right from wrong, they're going to hear that word all through their lives.
Mm-hmm.
No matter if it's at home, in school, they're going to hear it. Other kids,
Sorry, kids.
it's a word.
That's the way of the world. You know? I mean,
Sure, when your kids say it, you say, that's not a nice word, don't say it no more. But
I mean,
they're going to hear it all through their life.
I have a friend, and I'm not making this up, a very sweet friend of mine. Her daughter was bullied in school, and bullying is bullshit, by the way, and I don't condone that, and I don't endorse it. But anyway, someone was bullying her daughter, making comments about how thin she was, and the child's mom had called me, because we're really good friends, you know, and we speak on occasion. And she was so upset that she was hyperventilating on the phone. I'm not making this up. And I had to rashly and calmly tell her, you need to relax. I said that, and I told her, I said, there are people in this world, it doesn't matter how old you are, there are people in this world who are going to say and do things that are going to upset you. Instead of overreacting, teach your daughter how to defend herself. Teach her how to respond properly to things like that. Because when you get upset and start hyperventilating over the phone, you're not teaching her anything other than to respond negatively to the point where she's out of control. You have to teach her how to take care of herself. You have to teach her how to think. Because she can't do that on her own. You have to be the parent and say, look, When people are doing this to you or they're treating you this way, first of all, you should tell somebody. But second of all, this is how you respond in terms of thinking. And it took me a long time to figure this out too. That, that the expression sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. It's true, but it takes you a very long time to understand that. Even when I was in my teens, I mean, you can ask my dad. Somebody would say something horrible about me, and I would respond in anger, and I'd want to go beat somebody up. Of course, I didn't. But that feeling, I would feel those feelings, but then as time went on, it would go away. I'd put it in the back of my mind, like, okay, I'm getting over it. I'm just going to go back to doing what I was doing and leave it as that. But instead of my dad sheltering me from the things that upset me, he taught me how to respond to it. Because that's what should happen. You have to look at everything from a certain perspective, and you have to approach every situation with a pragmatic solution. Okay, well, they can say all this shit about me. That's fine. They're just words. It doesn't bother me. It's not my bag of worms. It's theirs. So, the problem rests with them, not with me, because I'm okay. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing what I need to do as a good person and to try to make the world a better place for other people. That's all you can do. Will the people change their behavior? I don't know. That's up to them. That's not up to me. That's how that goes. And I kind of got into a little pedantic word game argument last night with somebody through a text message. And I talked about, leaving Facebook and because of people giving me shit and spreading gossip. And the person was rather all over the place, comparing apples to oranges and saying, well, you leaving is not going to make them change their minds. Well, who said I did it for them anyway? I did it for me. I never one time made any definite statement or definitive statement that I left Facebook to appease everybody else. I did it for myself. I came back for a certain period of time because I was hoping that I could be on Facebook without having any issues, and I can still have my connections and talk to the people that I've always loved and cared about the most. I did. I wasn't even on Facebook this time for a whole year, I don't think, because I think I came back in September. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know it's been close to a year, if not a year. I came back for my friends. It had gotten worse. And that's why I left. I didn't leave to appease everybody else. And that's what this person was saying to me in a text message. And it's like, I don't have the energy to sit here and pedaddle with you with these stupid little fucking pedantic word games. I left Facebook for me, not to show them. And to all the people who are watching this and saying, well, Jared, you're letting the haters win. Well, let me tell you something. They've already lost. Because if they have to stoop so low as to go around spreading lies about people and spreading their hate and gossip about me to other people, infiltrating people's minds with shit that's not true and has never been proven, they've already lost. I decided to take the high road. And I'm never coming back. Now, these two could agree with me, although they're really super quiet over here, but they would agree. I know they would. It's not being biased. They would agree.
Yeah.
I took the high road. I did it for myself, for my mental health.
I got tired of seeing you be so depressed every time you get on it.
I would hide in my room like a butterfly, in a cocoon. I would stay in my bedroom. That's not where I want to be. That's not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be in the real world, enjoying time with my friends and family and people I love and care about the most. There's people who are wanting me to come and visit them, get on a plane and come and stay with them for a weekend. There's people that I've already met who are wanting me to come back and stay longer. But I can't be the best version of myself, which requires no effort. And that goes for any of you watching this. It doesn't require effort for you to just be yourself. But the people who want you around will continue to they'll want you to keep coming back. And that dog is distracting me. See, I can't do anything not social media, but Sunday video update, anything, because these animals are a constant distraction. Constant distraction.
Yeah.
And furthermore, I wanted to extrapolate on that point by saying, it's starting to rain. Jared, you're letting the haters win. I left the problem. I left the situation for my mental health. I'm winning. They've already lost. They have shown their true colors. Anything you see about me on Facebook, instead of believing it, you should just come and ask me. I'm not a hard person to find. Just because I'm not on Facebook anymore doesn't mean I'm a hard person to find. My email address is in the About tab section of my YouTube channel. It's not hard for you to email me, to get behind a computer and email me and ask me questions or say, hey, this is what these people are saying about you. Chances are good that I already know what they're saying and I'm already well aware of the kind of ignorance that's being cast and spewed across social media. I'm already aware of it. But I appreciate you telling me. Because when you tell me, that means you're aware, and that maybe, hopefully, you'll ask some questions. And hopefully I'll be able to answer them properly. Or to the best of my knowledge. So that was a lot. And now I'm going to jump topic here. And I wanted to talk about Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Every September, we go gold for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And because I'm not on Facebook anymore, I'm not going to be able to talk about it incessantly on a daily basis. But what I can say here in my Sunday video update is that every single day of my life is like September. If we're going to use September as the medium to talk about in regards to childhood cancer, then okay, every day is September for me. The people who are indirectly impacted by this, they're the ones who, I've spoken about childhood cancer any number of times throughout the tenure of my time on Facebook, on and off over the course of 9 years. I have talked about childhood cancer. Everybody's aware. Everybody's aware. That's why they kept coming back and accepting my friend's request, because they know that I can eloquently explain myself and express myself in a way where people will understand. And I can't speak for everybody, but when I was on Facebook, there have been numerous posts where, and I can't, there's no way for me to tell just by reading a post on Facebook. However, I think intuitively, deep down, everybody knows that there are people out there who will write a post and not put any feeling into it. They won't put their true heart and soul behind the words that they're writing in a post. Because the buzzwords like go gold and, not rare more than 4, things like that. They talk about things hoping that, they'll just throw something at the wall, hoping that it'll stick and it'll resonate with people who already have that same view and they're agreeing with that point of view. Just to get the likes and the attention and the whatever, the thumbs up or the hearts or whatever. Because that's Facebook, and that's how terribly people are using that as a way to measure their self-worth by how many likes and loves and shares. It's awful. And that's another reason why I'm glad that I'm no longer on Facebook. because my self-worth is not contingent on that at all. But you have people on there who will write posts and they're half-hearted. Like they don't really put any feeling into it. Every post I've ever written, of course, being a childhood cancer survivor, there's going to be feeling there. Of course, it was a personal, direct impact. I was in the trenches. I'm not just someone on the outside looking in saying, well, this is how I feel about the situation. No, I was in the situation. And I know a lot of people may have been disappointed by the idea that, well, Jared talks so much about being a survivor like he's gloating and my child died, and that kind of upsets me. Well, that wasn't my intention. That wasn't my point. And my heart breaks even to this day. All the children who have passed, children are dying every day. And yeah, more needs to be done. I don't know what it's going to take. I understand that research is severely underfunded, and that seems to be a water cooler discussion on social media. The thing is, we can't have incremental change. We can't fry the bigger fish until we handle domestic issues. And I said this last week too. You have to be willing to clean up your own backyard, keep your ego out of the cause, and do what's necessary for the betterment of the kids. This isn't about you. This isn't about your stupid little clubs or organizations or whatever. It's not about you. It's about the kids. Now, I've said this any number of times as well. I was never a member of any organization or clique or club or society or community or whatever. I used to refer to the childhood cancer world as a community. It's only a community to the people who are reaping benefits from that word, because that word carries with it some baggage that they have some kind of a concrete, like I'm a part of something. It's concrete because I'm being revered. My ass is being kissed. No, that whole concept, the idea of it, is wrong. I used to look at it as a community in terms of, okay, we're all going to work together. We're all going to get together and we're going to try to make change together. I didn't want to be above or beneath anybody. I wanted to be among people. That's what community is. We don't oust people who we don't agree with, and we don't seek to destroy their reputation. That's what happened to me. I exposed a fraud, which, by the way, he's going out on the road again. You know who I'm talking about. So keep your eyes peeled. But a community does not treat its own members this way, if we're going to call this a community. I'm not saying that the people affected by childhood cancer directly are looking to have their asses kissed, because they're looking for help. Their children are in dire need of help, financially and maybe emotionally, because, this battle, this fight takes my voice cracked. It takes a lot out of you. And my dad can tell you that. Physically, emotionally, financially, this is rough. This is rough going. I'm referring to the people who are using this, and I didn't want to put out any wrong message at people who are directly affected and they want to be a part of a community, want their asses kissed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the people who are doing this specifically for glory and glamour. Anybody who really knows me, or they know what I'm talking about or trying to say, they know for a fact that I'm not saying anything negative or nasty about people who are directly impacted by childhood cancer, because we too have been through that moment in our lives. I will excoriate childhood cancer all day, every day. Just because I'm not on social media anymore doesn't mean that I stop caring. I'm always going to care. I have to. There's just no way for me to get around that. But what I'm saying is that people who are using this for their own selfish desires of playing, valedictorian over everybody else is horseshit. That's not what childhood cancer is. It's not what advocacy efforts are about. There is no competition. There's no comparison. I could think of 1,000 different ways. If my only goal was to be popular or famous, I could think of 1,000 different ways. Childhood cancer is not the way to do it. I didn't ask for this. Nobody asked for this. Not a single person. And the point that I have always tried to make is that those of us who are involuntarily thrown into this was just thrust onto us like this. Now we have to learn how to adapt to changes. We have to learn how to adapt to the world every day. And just because I'm 30 years separated from my own battle with Wilms tumor, don't think for 1 second that I actually know how to adapt, because I'm still struggling. 30 years later. My dad will tell you that. Amy will tell you that. I still don't know how I can enjoy my life without the sun not bothering me. That's a huge part of it, because I had chemo. The chemo and radiation fucked me up in ways that I couldn't even imagine. Yeah, but Jared, you're a survivor. You still made it, you know? Yeah, I did. But if you ask pretty much any survivor of this after the fact, somewhere down the line, we've all run into problems afterwards. And believe me, I'm trying to live the most intrepid life that I can. The absolute most intrepid life. But I'm telling you, even I will tell you that it gets hard. It gets really difficult sometimes. And childhood cancer for me will always be something personal. It always. Until the day I die, it's going to be personal. It's serious business. And, I'm not someone who's going to sit here and foster this idea that, well, look at me, aren't I so special? Awareness efforts, advocacy efforts, when you intertwine that with social media, it's never a good combination. It's never a good recipe. And I've rambled on, but September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and I hope that even if you're not directly affected by this, share a ribbon on your Facebook or any platform of social media that you use, just to get people talking. Share the gold ribbon. Don't explain what it is. Just keep sharing a gold ribbon. People are going to ask questions. Well, what does that mean? Well, that is an inquiry on what it is. If you're going to keep sharing it, they're going to ask. And then you can explain. And when you explain, guess what? They're aware. And as many times as they turn the other way, they turn a blind eye to it, they can never say again that they were not aware of it. Do you recall, Dad? Because it is the first day of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, do you recall the day you found out when I was sick?
No, I don't.
You don't recall? You don't remember? Okay, well, I'll tell you, I'll share something that Mom had said, had told me when you got the call. Because Mom said you got a call at work.
I worked at
You were working at Thompson Boats, I believe.
Boats in St. Charles.
Yeah. And Mom's brothers and sisters were at the house. All my aunts and uncles were at the house, and that was very unusual for them to show up. Because they never come, they never come around. And Mom said that you came home from work in tears, inconsolable. And Mom kept asking you, what's wrong? What's going on? And Mom told me that you had gotten the call at work, that I had cancer, that it was a Wilms tumor, and I had to be in Lansing the next morning. And that's where it all began. That's what Mom told me. So that's what... Okay, so you do recall them. But I know you try to forget it, Dad, but, it's important. We've been through that already. And to the people who may be watching this and today they're thinking about the first time they learned about childhood cancer, just know that I'm right there with you. So is Dad. And if my mom's watching this, so is she. We're all right there with you.
I've never been in the situation as you, Mom and Dad, but I'm still there for people that are fighting cancer.
It's a nightmare. It's a living nightmare. It's a living hell.
And I still hate it when people come up to you and say, I know how you feel. No, you don't.
Unless you've been through that yourself, you don't know.
That pisses me off.
I don't know how any of you would feel.
People never come to, they always came up to me, I know how you feel. No, you don't know how. Have you got a child that has that or has had that?
Have you had to watch?
You don't know how a person feels. You don't know what a parent goes through their minds every day.
Have you had to sit and watch your own child puke and lose her hair, complain of tummy troubles, sweating, nausea, the whole works, fevers? Because that's how we found out that I had Wilms tumor. I had a fever. And this is all according to Dr. Scott. I had a fever. I was taken to Memorial Healthcare in Owasso. It was in 1989, by the way. And that's when they diagnosed me with the clinical word nephroblastoma, which is Wilms tumor. But then that's kind of conflicting with the story that Mom told me, because if you came home from work, how could you have gotten the call at work if I was diagnosed at the hospital?
The doctors called me because I told them to call me first to find out anything. Your mom didn't know nothing about it.
Oh, so I went to the hospital first, and they had taken, I guess, they had to have. That's the only way they could have found out. And then you told them to call you at work when they got the result, when the results came back.
Yeah, and that's what they did.
Okay, because that was kind of confusing to me for a minute. Well, it's like, well, if you got a call at work and Mom was home, how could we have been at the hospital? But now it makes sense.
We were at the family reunion yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my cousin Stephanie McNinch.
Yeah.
And she's got 3 stages of cancer, or 3 types of cancer now.
3 types of cancer.
Yeah. The one is the uterus. It was in the uterus. A couple of them were in the uterus.
Uh-huh.
And they did the hysterectomy on her and everything.
Uh-huh.
But she's also got it somewhere else in her body, and
Yeah.
it's a mess.
But September being Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, yeah, I got plenty to say about it. And, you know, I used to be naive in thinking that it was a community. Sure. Because I actually thought that everybody had the same heart. Everybody cared enough to want to make it about the cause. And then I discovered that there are truly rotten people. I made another pot. Yeah, I could use a warm-up. Well, I gotta drink this a little bit first. Yeah, fuck it.
And as you all see, he's using his Sparty cup.
Mm-hmm.
He still supports the Sparties.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember what I wanted to talk about. I wasn't going to talk about that. But I think I will. Because I'm not on Facebook anymore. And I don't care. I called the Sparrow Foundation. And everybody's going to know this. I called the Sparrow Foundation. Well, I emailed them first. And I asked them, because I was banned from their page. And for those of you who didn't know, I'm actually not even allowed on the hospital property anymore. So I'm going to get to that. I emailed them and I asked them to reverse the ban. Is there any way I can make it right with the people at Sparrow or someone, even if I say I'm sorry? If I did something wrong, you know, which I threw an envelope, by the way. But I emailed them and I had them call me. I asked them why, and they said, well, no, we're not going to lift the ban. That ban's going to stay there. And I kept asking them why. Dad was there when we had the phone call. And he kept hemming, hawing, dodging, and ducking my question, why are you not going to lift the ban? What did I do? I said, I knew I threw an envelope across the room. I didn't hit anybody, but I threw an envelope because I was pissed. And I told them specifically, you don't get to provoke an outburst and then pin it on the person when they get angry. Well, I understand that. I understand that. No, you fucking don't understand that. Because if you understood it, you would have already answered my question. He dodged and He dodged and ducked and hemmed and hawed the whole time. Then he said, have a good day, and I ended the call with, fuck off.
I told him I was going to get over my lawyer.
Now, typically, I don't... Holy shit.
Hello.
Now, typically, I'm going to wait for him to step out. Now, typically, I don't talk to people that way unless my anger is provoked. My anger has been provoked twice now because I've been stonewalled by the people at the Sparrow Foundation. And all I asked, and in a nice way, I asked them, why was I banned from the Facebook, the Sparrow Foundation page? Why was I banned from that page? Why is it such a big deal for you to actually tell me what I did that was so wrong? I still don't have an answer. And the only reason I threw the envelope across the room at the Sparrow Foundation that day is because that outburst was provoked. You don't get to blame somebody for being a certain way and then not elaborate on how they were being that certain way. That's unprofessional and it's dishonest. And to be honest with you, I don't care if Sparrow sees this. You're very unprofessional. You don't get to call yourselves leaders when, in fact, you have no idea what leadership is. Your job is to be a steward of the public. And when the public comes at you with inquiries, questions, not knowing or understanding a situation, it is your job to elaborate on what the situation is. You don't just get to point fingers and say, well, this is how you were behaving, but we're not going to tell you how you were behaving that way. Trust me, if I knew, I wouldn't be fucking asking you. I would already have the answer to the question. So, thank you. Who's that?
Jay.
But there's more to the story. It had, I don't know if it had anything to do with my haters. I can't say because they won't tell me. And I've tried to get to the bottom. I'm sad that Sparrow would treat me this way after all this time. And I'm losing train of thought because there's too many distractions. Well, you can say whatever you want to say, but the keys are jingling. I used to put Sparrow in high regard. I used to hold them up. I used to lionize them. I used to treat them as if they were everything to me because they saved my life. I only have respect for 5 people from Sparrow. The 3 of them are my oncologists, and the other 2 are actually, they were receptionists at the clinic in East Lansing. One actually went on to become an open heart surgeon, and the other one actually, I think, retired. I used to have such a high regard for Sparrow, but after the way they've treated me, they want to blame and accuse and point fingers and not elaborate on how on their reasons, I have no respect for them anymore. And that's how they treat people. It's not in any way professional. And it's totally and completely dishonest. I wouldn't ever say, for example, I would never go up to Amy and say, well, you were being totally, threatening to me, Amy. And if you're gonna, and if you come to me and ask me, how was I being threatening, Jared, or how was I behaving, I'd rather not entertain that. Bullshit. If I'm accusing you of being threatening, and you ask me how was I being threatening, I would be morally responsible enough to explain how you were being threatening, and you would work to correct the problem. There would be a communication thing happening here. Sparrow failed to do that twice.
He did that just the other day.
Fucking twice they failed at communicating.
When Sparrow called. The day that Sparrow called you?
I called them.
Okay, well, yeah. But, when they called you back.
And they said that there was an incident before the envelope throwing incident. What was that? They wouldn't elaborate. They wouldn't tell me. Well, I'm not going to entertain that. Well, fuck you.
But you were heated.
Oh, I was mad. I was mad.
So I come out to Dad and I says, well, I'm going to ride with you. Jared's a little heated.
That was when you guys went up to Matt's,
Yes.
Uncle Tim's.
And I come out when you got there and I says, I'm sorry I left with Dad, but you were a little heated.
You don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize because I was pissed. If someone is going to accuse me of being threatening, or because I was just telling Amy, they said on the phone, even before the envelope throwing incident, an envelope, oh my fucking word, an envelope. They said there was an incident before that. What incident? What are you talking about? They wouldn't elaborate. They wouldn't talk about it.
They only talked about the paper incident.
Yeah, throwing an envelope. An envelope. And I told them in an email, I said, throwing an envelope is not a misdemeanor nor a felony.
Nope.
It's a fucking envelope.
Just like I told him, I get hold of my lawyer.
You provoke an outburst, and then you're going to pin it on the person. You're going to make them look bad. See, I told you that Jared Fuller was this. No, you fucking provoked the anger. You started this shit.
Should have had your phone on camera.
I did. I recorded the video, which it's unlisted, by the way, on my YouTube channel, because I only wanted certain people to see it. I might let it go public.
I would.
So everybody can listen to the conversation. So you know how extremely unprofessional Sparrow Hospital is, and why they get so many bad reviews and so many negative testimonials about the service and the staff and the way people treat, or the way these people are treated by Sparrow staff. It's ridiculous.
I feel if it wasn't for Sparrow, my dad wouldn't be where he is today.
It's absurd. I used to hold Sparrow to such a high regard because the people there saved my life. But now, after the way I've been treated not once but twice by very rude people, asshats, I have nothing good to say about them anymore. I used to love Sparrow. Now I just don't fucking care. Because they have pushed me to that point. To where now I don't care. I'm done. But I want people to also understand that if you choose to go through Sparrow, you get treated with that same kind of unprofessional courtesy. Don't say I didn't warn you. Well, that's any hospital. You get that anywhere. I don't care. I don't care about anywhere else. I care about Sparrow because Sparrow was a part of my life. The people there saved me. It meant more to me coming from Sparrow. That's where I was saved. And the fact that they would treat a childhood cancer survivor this way, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the fact that I'm a childhood cancer survivor, just a person in general. The fact that they would treat somebody this way is absolute fucking bullshit. All I asked, why was I banned from the Sparrow Foundation page? If I did something wrong, let me strive to correct it. Even if it's a simple apology. I wanted to settle this dispute civilly. They don't want that. I didn't make one attempt, I made 2 attempts. Actually, if you consider the 14 times that I've called, and 1 call should have been sufficient, I tried to resolve this issue 16 fucking times, and they still don't want it. Why? I don't know. And it bothers me. It bothers me a lot. I'm not allowed on hospital property anymore.
I think that's been a lot of your depression. Is knowing that you're not allowed on the premises.
And it makes no sense. Ugh. It makes no sense to me at all. Usually if you do something wrong and you're not aware of it and you violate their rules, they should at least be professional enough and honest enough with you to say, this is what you did wrong.
Even security should be willing to say, hey, this is what you did
Run
wrong.
a cop?
What?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What, run a cop?
Yeah, rent-a-cops. Because the guy that I talked to on the phone just recently, I guess he was a security in the security office. I don't care. You're an asshole. You were unprofessional on the phone. You dodged, there's that word again. You dodged and ducked and hemmed and hawed at every fucking question I had. Why am I not allowed on the premises? Now, after this video, I may not be allowed on the premises anymore. For good. Because of the swearing. Again, F words. I don't care. I don't care. I've had enough. I'm tired of being disrespected. I'm tired of being thrown under the bus at every whim. When I've spent the last 6 years of my life dedicating and devoting every inch of every waking moment of my time and every resource I had helping other people. I'm not doing this in terms of reciprocation, thinking I'm going to get something back for it. I did it because I gave a damn. I wanted to be a part of the Sparrow. I wanted to volunteer at Sparrow. Why are they putting up so many roadblocks? Why won't they let me come back? Why are they doing this to me? Somebody at Sparrow's got to be watching this. I'm upset. I'm heartbroken because no other hospital saved my life. It was Sparrow that saved my life. And this is the disrespect that I get from these people. Why? Because someone said something on social media? Fuck social media. Talk to me. Get to know me. I know this video is going to get shared on Facebook. Again, I don't fucking care. I want people to know. If I did something wrong other than throwing an envelope, whoop-de-fuck, who cares? I threw an envelope. No big deal. If I did something wrong, I want you to tell me. Email me. Just get in contact with me. Get in touch with me. You have my email address. You have my fucking phone number. Call me. Text me. Email me. Something. Because I'm really hurt and I'm upset and I'm shaken by this. I've had to deal with this. And just like Amy pointed out, that's been a big part of my depression and anxiety because the hospital that saved my life, they don't want me there anymore.
I've noticed another one is when you lose your friends on.
When I lost my friends on account of a rumor.
Yep.
That these people never bothered to come to me and ask me what was true and what wasn't. They never bothered to come to me and talk to me about shit.
They just start deleting.
They just assume the worst.
Blocking and deleting without even any answers.
Without any inquiry at all. You don't come to me, you don't ask me questions, you just assume.
That is all true.
Sparrow, no different. You say I did something wrong or you said that I was being threatening on your page and you never bothered to elaborate. I tried to get in contact with somebody. I tried to be civil about this. I tried to approach this with as many different pragmatic avenues as I could. and you kept pushing. You provoked anger. You provoked outbursts. And then you want to turn this around and say, well, see, I told you Jared Fuller was this bad person. No, I'm a human being who's getting a runaround and being fucked over out of opportunities because of something else that somebody else said. That's what I'm getting frustrated about.
And as long as I've known you almost 18 years, yeah, you do have your ups and downs with your temper, but, I mean, you're learning to control it better than what you used to, I've noticed.
I do too. Fuck with me once and see what happens.
You know, when you spend, like I said, you spend your time in devoting your life helping people to a cause, and you get screwed over in so many ways imaginable.
Right.
And I'm not supposed to be angry or upset about that. I'm not a robot. I'm a human being.
You feel the same way as I do with you of them.
I'm going to tell you something. There's probably many more people out there just like me right now who are deeply angry and frustrated and severely pissed by the runaround that they've gotten. And all of this started because I exposed a fraud. Well, you know what? Too fucking bad. He's a fraud. Period.
It is what it is.
And I don't care if anybody likes that or not. He's a fucking fraud. And you know who I'm talking about. I haven't spoken his name in a long time. Because I wanted to move on to bigger and better things. And I have. But if you're going to get mad at me in retaliation over the fact that I called out a fraud, the problem is yours. It shouldn't be mine. I'm not the one using people. And I'm sure as hell not piggybacking sick children to line my pockets. You're okay with people doing that? You're just as sick as he is. And I'm getting all worked up and frustrated now. But you know what? I have my reasons. Because now it's starting to seep into my personal life. It's starting to seep into my personal life. It's affecting my behavior and everything else I'm trying to do to live happy and to do things to help people. That's all I'm trying to do. And I get screwed over at every turn. All because somebody doesn't like me. Well, you know what? Too fucking bad. I don't like you either. But I'll be damned if I'm going to seek to destroy a person's reputation just because I don't like him. Now, the fraud, he does that on his own. His actions speak for him. And if you're too blind and too stupid to see it, then that's your problem too. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit back. I'll be damned if I'm going to sit back and not say a word when someone is being dishonest. And the ball dropped when he said to me, or when he didn't say it to me, but he made a post on Facebook, well, what should the limits be on fundraisers when treatment options have ended? You sick piece of shit. What kind of a thing is that to say? I would never ask that question. Never. That would never cross my mind. Do you know why? Because I have lived through it and I know what it is to go through it. He knows what it is to go through it. Someone this guy who's not directly impacted by this in any way, shape, or form seems to think he knows so much more about it. He's a piece of shit. I don't care if we agree that childhood cancer is awful. I don't care if we agree that more funding needs to be geared towards research. Hell, I don't even care if we agree on the same flavor of ice cream. He's a piece of shit. And anybody who is complicit with frauds are pieces of shit too. Period. Yeah, I'm getting worked up here. Getting a little frustrated. But you know what? I need to rant. I need to get this off my chest. I used to love Sparrow dearly. I loved the people who saved my life, my oncologists. I'll love them forever. Forever and a day.
Actually, people that cared.
And there are still families that I talk to. There are still people who love me and care about me. They text me, they email me, they check on me to see how I'm doing. Because not everybody believes shit that they're told.
So all you guys on there that think you don't have friends, you're dead.
Oh, I've still got friends. I've still got friends.
He's got friends everywhere.
It just hurts me more.
It just sucks that they're trying to stop him from having friends, but that ain't gonna happen.
It just hurts me.
His friends know what kind of crook or assholes there is on some places that tell people stuff and they believe them. They actually believe it without going to the main source.
It hurts me. If it was anybody else, okay, it hurts, but I'll get over it. But now we're talking about Sparrow. I tried to be cordial with them. I tried to be civil with them. I wanted to find out why I'm being treated this way. Why are you stonewalling me?
I'd like to have a hearing up there. Get a hold of the main one and have a hearing with them.
They hem and haw and dodge and duck. Every inquiry I have. Why am I being treated this way? There's something else going on. There's something else going on. They're just not telling me. I don't stay where I'm not welcome or where I don't feel loved. And yeah, I deleted Facebook not because I don't feel loved or I don't feel wanted. I deleted Facebook because I got tired of the bullshit. I didn't know that helping people was such a horrible thing. Since when? Or is it only bad when Jared does it? You make special cases for special people. You're a fucking idiot. If that's how you think, you're stupid. Because if I have no reason to think that somebody is being threatening, like the analogy I just used minutes ago with Amy, if I tell Amy that she's being threatening and she says, gee, Jared, how was I being threatening? I'm not going to fucking stonewall her questions. I'm going to answer her. I'm going to tell you something. I've seen these two get in arguments, okay? There's no perfect relationship. Everybody knows that. I've seen these two argue back and forth about things that you wouldn't believe. But they don't stonewall each other. Dad says, Amy, you're doing things that upset me. Well, maybe in a not so nice way. But I'm just going to use it as a hypothetical. Dad says, Amy, you're doing things that are pissing me off. Amy says, what did I do, honey? Dad explains. Dad doesn't say, well, I'd rather not get into it. Fuck that. If you're accusing her of doing something or being a certain way, you don't just leave a person hanging. I mean, how dishonest is that? And if you run a business, if you're working for a hospital, how very, very awful of you to give such a bad reflection of the facility. It's not the building itself, it's the people. Sparrow tries to put out this message, choose wisely, choose Sparrow. That's their little slogan. Choose wisely? They don't know what wise is. Because if I ask you a question, I expect an answer. I don't expect the stonewalling and well, I'd rather not elaborate on that. Fuck you. You're not wise. You don't know what wisdom is. Wisdom is knowing that if there is a problem, you call yourself a leader? Well, here's an idea. If you're a leader, why don't you portray the leadership skills that you have? Sit down with the person that you claim to be acting threatening, and why don't you come to a solution? A civilized solution. Has that ever crossed your mind? Probably not. But that's not leadership, let alone professionalism. And this bothers me more. If it was any other hospital where I was treated at, I would feel the same way. But it just so happened to be Sparrow. That was where my fight was. And every time I go to Lansing and I see the hospital, my heart breaks. Because I can't believe they would treat me this way. I haven't done anything to anybody. I threw an envelope. Wow. Big, hairy fucking whoop. Don't you have better things to worry about? Like people who are, bringing guns and drugs on the property, on the premises? Which, by the way, I had neither. I don't carry guns or knives. I don't do drugs. I drink a beer on occasion. Matter of fact, I had a beer last night. And it tasted great. I had 2 beers. And I bought one for my dad, yeah. But that doesn't make me an alcoholic. But that's another story. It bothers me. And it bothers me every day that I would be so disrespected. I would just hope that someone from Sparrow would at least have the nerve to call me and say, Jared, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this because you're pretty upset. We don't want you to be upset anymore. We made a mistake. Again, it's ego. The people at Sparrow are so ego-friendly. They will not admit when a mistake has been made. I'm just glad that it's not open heart surgery where these mistakes are being made. I'm just glad that it's not a child who's battling cancer where these mistakes are being made. If I had to pick and choose on where those mistakes are being made, I would much rather it be made with me in a misconception or a miscommunication problem and not operating on a child who has a tumor or a misdiagnosis.
And if you were saying you were wrong, you would tell them, I'm sorry, I was wrong. But you didn't do nothing wrong.
I can't. They didn't have an explanation. They didn't have an excuse.
The guy wouldn't even give me the explanation.
No.
I told him, well, you hear from my lawyer then, because I'm going to find out. I'm going to get down to the bottom line. We're going to find out what was actually said before that or done.
And sure, they're not required to tell me. They're not required at all to give me an explanation. But if you call yourself professional, if you put yourself in a position of leadership, you don't hone or possess those qualities. All you had to do is just say, hey, this is what you did. And we would kindly ask that you not do this anymore. If I mentioned a kid's name on a page, just tell me. I will fix it. I will apologize, and I will come to you in a civilized manner, far removed from this outburst here in this video this week, and I will come to you and say, look, if that's all it was, you should have just told me that's all it was. I will apologize to you. I will say that I'm sorry. I will own up. I've already owned up to the fact that I threw an envelope. I shouldn't have done it, but they shouldn't have provoked the outburst. Just tell me what I did that was so wrong, and I will own up to it. Point out where I was being wrong. I don't know. It's sad. I'm not crying. It's my sneeze. It's my allergies. It's that light. So don't feel left out, Dad. You're not the only one sneezing.
Or coughing.
It just hurts. I've been.
I will get to the bottom of it, Jared, eventually. I'll get to the bottom of it. If I have to drive to Lansing myself and go right up there.
They'll throw you off. They'll throw you off the property too. Jay was supposed to show up.
They can't. I ain't done nothing. Yeah, Jay's coming over.
But I've been here for quite a while, about an hour and 15 minutes. I just want the problems to go away. Oh. I just want the problems to go away. Damn it. Oh. Choking. Ugh. Oh, my allergies.
Changing the weather too. It rained last night.
Yeah.
My dog come in soaked. I've been down of it. If I had to make a trip to Lansing myself, go right to the main office and talk to them. I'll find out. Let them throw me off there, or they will put me in jail.
I just never imagined. I never thought. You know.
Talk to them in civil manner, but then they don't get smart with me.
I tried to be civil with them. It started off civilly. I didn't go in with an attitude. I didn't go in acting like I'm all big and bad. When I went into the Sparrow Foundation, when all this went down with the envelope throwing incident, I was there with the best of intentions. I wanted to have a civilized talk. I didn't want vague responses. I wanted a direct answer. The president of the Sparrow Foundation, she couldn't even give it. She couldn't tell me. Why? That's all I'm asking. Why? Why? This isn't HIPAA violation shit we're talking here. It's a Facebook page. All you had to do was say, well, we felt you were threatening because you had done this on the page, or you had done that on the page, or you said this or said that. That's all you had to tell me. And it would have ended better. I would have said, okay, let me make this right with you. Let me apologize and let me, I don't know, let me raise money for the Sparrow Foundation. Let me make it right with you. I would have had a fundraiser. I would have been more than happy to raise money for the Sparrow Foundation. I would have had Dad help me, or asked Dad to help me. But no, you didn't want that. You wanted to provoke an outburst.
They want to look like the big shots, too.
Yeah, because they have egos.
Oh, they don't want their egos to be.
They want their ego stroked constantly. This is all about ego. This has nothing to do with treating people with respect.
They don't want to be proven wrong. That's the problem.
It had nothing to do with them. They don't care about treating people with respect. And they've demonstrated that not once but twice. They don't care about the public. And if it is something that's social media related, well, congratulations. You listen to gobbledygook. You can't come to me personally or get a hold of me personally and elaborate on where the mistake was made. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what I did. If I did know what I did, again, like I said, I would acknowledge it and I would correct it. And I would try to make it right with you or anybody else that I've wronged. But see, that's what differentiates me from everybody else. When they do wrong onto me, they don't care about correcting it. If I've done wrong onto somebody else, I want to make it right. I would expect that same kind of professionalism and leadership from you. And I didn't get it. And I'm still not getting it. And maybe perhaps I'll never get it. This is where I lost respect for Sparrow. Because they treated me like absolute dog shit. It just hurts. And I'm done talking about this because I'm getting nowhere.
You're getting heated up.
I'm getting nowhere. I mean, they're never going to watch this. But the people who actually take the time and actually watch my videos and they have the patience to sit through an hour-long listening to me talk, They know how I feel, or at least I would like to hope that they know how I feel. I just don't get it. If it was anything serious, I'd be sitting in jail. So I can dismiss any act of criminal activity on their Facebook page because, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'm not under investigation by anybody. I would know if I was. I haven't done anything to anybody. Other than the envelope throwing incident, again, like I said, that was provoked. Well, you got to learn how to control your behavior. No, it's not about, and again, that's them pinning that onto me. That's them deflecting. Well, see, I told you Jared Fuller was bad. He can't control his behavior. No, my behavior was controlled. The fact of the matter is that you push people to their breaking points. It has nothing to do with, oh, Jared can't control his anger. Yes, I can, actually. If you actually take the time to know me and any other normative circumstances, you would know that I can control my behavior. I can hold my tongue. But in that situation, it was provoked. And I had had enough. So what are you doing today?
I don't know what he's
I
doing.
know what I'm doing today, son. So I got money to do anything, so until Tuesday.
You know what I'd like to do, but we ain't got the funds to do it, so
What? What?
go to the cemeteries.
I don't know what I'm doing today. I don't have Facebook anymore, so I'm not going to be on Facebook.
No, I can't follow you now where you're at unless you text me.
Or if I keep in touch with friends, text message, email. That's the only way you're going to be able to.
Or call.
Or call me. That's the only way you're going to get a hold of me. Or if you send me a letter or something in the mail, I can provide that. If you want my mailing address, I can email that to you.
No, you still got Skype and all
Yeah,
that?
I've still got Skype. Yep, I've got Skype on my computer and my cell phone. And I have Duo on my cell phone, too. So I haven't lost all of my friends. But then on second thought, if they were my real friends, I would never have lost them in the first place.
Yep.
Kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean...
Yeah, I think a lot of them believe the crap that's being said.
And that's why I blow up in anger. And I get so frustrated and I go on a rant like this because I've been railroaded. It's just not right. It's not fair.
And your body, with all that happening, your body's your mind and your body is all on a roller coaster.
And I'm telling you, Facebook and social media in general, it does affect your behavioral patterns. It does. There's no denying that.
I've learned to ignore it all, I guess. Because I never know what Facebook account is whose. Because there's duplicate ones, and I don't use that one no more. That one was hacked.
Yeah. For me, I wish the problem was minimal to the point of, my account was just hacked.
Right.
But it's much bigger, much personal issues.
Go on. Are you on Messenger, Wayne?
Yeah.
Did you see who I've been talking to?
Yeah, I see it.
But, I don't know. I might go up to Matt's. I don't know if...
Man ain't home.
Oh, he's not home. Okay.
Man, I think's up north.
Hey, I think he's up
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think 'cause Uncle Tim's up there.
Shit, I was going to go up there, too.
Drive up there. Good.
Just to get away. And
The kids
Take a
would
drive
love that.
Take a drive up to Woods.
I don't know if they're going fishing or what they're doing.
I doubt it.
My cousin Rosie,
Rhonda's up there.
Rhonda,
He's got Aunt Rhonda on his mind.
Yeah, I've been.
I miss her too. my cousin Rosie was talking about having a little get-together, just Grandma Charlene's kids and grandkids, at Henderson Park, which is just over here. It's in Shiawassee County, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, she's having a get-together.
She wants to have a get-together under the pavilion at Henderson Park.
Oh.
Just the Fullers, just Grandma Charlene's kids.
Nice. That would be nice.
All my cousins.
Tried to get that too, but I don't know. That would be nice for everybody to get
Just
together.
us. You and Uncle Tim and Uncle Danny and Aunt Cheryl. All of us kids, all the grandkids, great-grandkids.
Girlfriends.
Those are all my cousins. I've got a lot.
9 years old today?
I might.
You know, your
If-
family, I have to admit,
Yeah.
is real easy to get to accept you as the family.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because we're not perfect. Actually, I can't speak for all of my family because some of them do think that they are God's gift to the world.
yeah.
They go around acting like perfect little angels when they aren't.
Like some of mine.
I can openly tell you right now that I am not perfect.
We found out we have a big mouth.
I'm not perfect.
Perfect, and I never be perfect.
I'm not perfect. I am perfectly imperfect.
We all sit on the toilet, shit the same way.
Yeah. I am perfectly imperfect.
Dad made that clear.
That's hereditary, it runs in the genes.
And Dad has jokes.
When don't Dad have jokes?
But I had to get all that out. I didn't mean to take up so much time, but some things need to be said.
And call. Hey, Jared. And then go call me.
Yeah, call me.
Right on.
It just seems like everything fell apart. Everything that I tried to do, it all just kind of fell apart because of other people.
No. I think what's going
And Sparrow, if anybody's watching from Sparrow, which I highly doubt that is the case. But if you are watching this, if you are an employee of Sparrow, you know exactly what's going on now. I don't make things up. I have no reason to make anything up. The only things I ever make up are poems. Because poems, I can think of any story, bow tie words around it to make a story poem. That's it. It's called imagination. And anybody who has the audacity to come up with these lies and gossip, rumors about me, what kind of dark imagination do they have? How deep inside their own heads do they have to go to foster up these lies and gossip? Why doesn't anybody question them? There's so many holes in stories that it's pathetic, and it should be obvious. It was obvious to the mom in Ionia. They tried to brainwash her, and for a little while they did. They made her scared of me. But you know what? She got to meet me yesterday. She started to put 2 and 2 together. So you can't win them all. That's going to be it for this week, guys. I'm going to go do something today. I don't know what. But I know I'm going to get the fuck out of here, because if I sit around here and sulk for the rest of the day, nothing's going to get done. I got to get away. So, Dad, I should just wait for Dad to come back out so he can say his goodbyes. Or see you next week, I should say. It's not goodbye. So,
I'm going to say mine now. Peace out. Have a good holiday. Be safe.
Yeah. No mail delivery tomorrow because it's Labor Day.
And take it easy. I enjoy being in these videos, even though I sound like crap.
And it's the first day of September already.
Oh, shush.
This year has gone by quick.
Yeah, before you know it, frickin'
We're going to get
winter's
snow.
gonna be here.
Snow's going to start flying again. It's going to make it difficult for everybody to get out.
I gotta find my boots. Winter boots.
But, yeah. that's it was a bit of a rant video. There were some things I just I went off the rails, but I wanted to make sure that people understood. That was my point. I just wanted to get everything out, even if I had to reiterate a few things over again a few times. If you have a question, if someone shows you anything on social media about me, text me, email me, call me, in fact. Please, in some way, bring this to my attention so we can have a discussion. Don't just assume that something is a fact. Talk to me. Get a hold of me. And we'll have the discussion. September's Child Cancer Awareness Month. Share a gold ribbon and just do your part. And do it honestly. Don't do it for you. Do it for the cause. That's all I have to say.
What are you doing, Scott? What are you doing down there, buddy?
And something else to remember too, that me being a survivor of 30 years. So for the past 6 years, of course, I've been an advocate, and I just want you people to know that I would have traded in every breath I've ever taken in the past 30 years in exchange for your kids. So remember that. And that's a wrap. Any last words this week?
Yeah, stop believing everything you hear.
Yep.
Stop believing it all. There ain't nothing true.
Good enough for me. And yeah, you've sat with me for an hour and a half. Holy shit. I didn't realize I was here that long. So I'm going to wrap this up because this is going to take forever to upload to YouTube.
Yep.
Thanks for joining me again this week, guys. Much love to all of you watching. And if like I said, if you have any problems about something you've seen, if you have questions, just reach out to me. Just contact me. And I'll explain. But just don't go and believe something because someone told you. I don't care how convincing it is, because they try to make everything sound convincing. I can't leave yet. Remember how I showed you guys the state prison shirt that I got in the mail? You guys remember that? I wanted to get this out there too before I went away. The person who sent it, Debbie Carver, she told that mother in Ionia that I sent it to myself.
Yeah, wow.
Well, let me tell you something else, just so there's clarity. I received it in the mail. I went to the police station and asked them what my options were.
That's the sheriff, the chief of police.
Yeah, the chief of police. And do you know what they told me? Take a piece of dog shit, wrap it up in the shirt, and send it back.
In the back.
I didn't do that because
What an idea.
gee, if I ordered the shirt for myself, first of all, I think it would be a dead giveaway that my name isn't a woman's name. I don't have a female name, let alone a female voice. And if I ordered something for myself, oh my God, it was such buyer's remorse that I bought the state prison shirt. I should just report myself to the cops. Really?
You know, and Dan and I were walking around Shiawassee County Fair,
Yeah.
and there was another guy with one of them shirts.
And just to clarify this as well, if I actually were a criminal and I was convicted, if I was incarcerated for something, it doesn't matter what, do you think I would be so proud of myself that I would advertise it to the fucking public? The state would do that enough. They have a website.
And don't they know that if you wore that, they'd be questioning you about it?
Yeah, I would be interrogated. The state, every state, I'm sure, has a website that has a listing of convicted felons.
And how do you get across customs?
And Well, not even customs.
Well, how would you get on the plane?
Yeah, how could I have ever boarded a plane to go to places like New York and Louisiana? How could I have crossed state lines to go to all these different places? How could they have allowed me to get on a fucking plane if I have convictions on my record?
Or criminal records.
If I'm under investigation, if I'm being investigated by the FBI, or if I'm being watched by the Centers for Missing and Exploited Children, which I've been told any number of times, and I don't care. So I have an audience. Cool. My audience just grows.
Somebody come up? Oh.
But if that were the case, would I be able to accomplish domestic flights, domestic travel? I think not.
Oh, goodbye.
So I hope that answers your question. I gotta go. I've been here for almost 2 hours. Barkley wants back in. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for watching this week and for indulging me for an hour and I would say almost an hour and 40 minutes going on. Yep, getting close to that point. I'm out of here. We're out of here. Have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you next week, September 8th. I think next Sunday is the 8th. And I'll probably have an update on how the eye doctor appointment went, which it's probably going to be nothing. They're just going to examine my eyes and see if I need a stronger pair of glasses or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, much love. Peace. I'm out. See ya.